you ever imagined what it would feel like to meet the person who inspired your biggest dream, not shake their hand, not watch them from the stands, not see them on television, but actually stand beside them as an equal, compete in the same tournament, walk the same hallways, practice on the same courts, share the same stage? For Alex Eala, that impossible dream is about to become reality. Because after nearly 4 years away from professional tennis, Serena Williams has returned. And now, the greatest champion of the modern era is heading to Berlin, where one of the fastest rising stars in tennis is waiting. What happens when a legend returns at the exact moment a new star is rising? What happens when two generations collide? And what happens when the athlete you idolized your entire life suddenly becomes your fellow competitor? This is the story the entire tennis world is talking about. And trust me, it gets bigger than anyone expected. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because the story you are about to hear could become one of the most unforgettable moments in tennis history. Let's begin. June 2026. The tennis world wakes up to shocking news. Serena Williams is back. Not for an exhibition. Not for a farewell appearance. Not for a celebration. For competition. Real competition. The announcement spreads across social media like wildfire. Sports websites immediately push breaking news alerts. Television networks begin discussing the implications. Former players react with disbelief. Current stars react with excitement. Fans around the world ask the same question. Is this really happening? Because Serena Williams is not just another tennis player. She is arguably the greatest female athlete of all time. 23 Grand Slam singles titles. Hundreds of weeks ranked number 1. Countless records. Millions of fans. An impact on sports that extends far beyond tennis. For more than 2 decades, Serena dominated an era filled with elite competitors. She changed expectations. She changed history. She changed the game itself. When she stepped away from professional tennis after the 2022 US Open, many believed they were witnessing the final chapter of an incredible journey. The farewell felt complete. The story felt finished. The legend had already achieved everything. Or so we thought. Because legends rarely follow ordinary rules. And Serena Williams has never been ordinary. When she walked back onto the court at Queen's Club in London, something extraordinary happened. The atmosphere changed. Fans stood before the match even started. Every camera followed her. Every movement became news. Every point felt historic. It wasn't simply a tennis match. It felt like the return of a global icon. The crowd wasn't watching a comeback. They were watching history. And then something remarkable happened. Serena looked good. Really good. The power remained. The movement remained. The competitive fire remained. The same intensity that terrified opponents for decades was still there. Suddenly, conversations changed. This wasn't about nostalgia anymore. This wasn't about memories. People started asking whether Serena Williams could actually compete again at the highest level. And that question created a wave of excitement throughout the entire tennis world. But while headlines focused on Serena's return, another incredible story was developing quietly in the background. A story thousands of miles away. A story centered around a young Filipina who had spent years chasing her own dream. Her name was Alex Eala. At just 21 years old, Alex Eala had already become one of the most exciting young players in women's tennis. Her rise had been steady. Her determination had been relentless, and her success had inspired millions throughout the Philippines. Every victory felt significant. Every ranking jump generated headlines. Every tournament brought new expectations. Yet despite everything she had accomplished, there remained one athlete she admired above all others: Serena Williams. Like countless young players around the world, Alex grew up watching Serena dominate the sport. She watched Serena win Grand Slam finals. She watched Serena overcome obstacles. She watched Serena inspire an entire generation. For Alex, Serena wasn't simply a champion. She was proof that greatness was possible. But Alex never imagined their careers would overlap. Why would she? When Serena retired, Alex was only beginning her professional journey. The timing didn't seem possible. The opportunity didn't seem realistic. The dream appeared impossible. Then came Berlin, and everything changed. The Berlin Open is not just another tournament. It is one of the most competitive events on the grass court calendar. The world's best players compete there. The intensity is relentless. The pressure is enormous. And in 2026, the field would be stronger than ever. 9 of the world's top 10 players were expected to participate. Every match would feel like a final. Every round would feature world-class talent. For Alex Eala, simply receiving a wildcard into the main draw was already huge news. The wildcard represented trust, opportunity, belief. It meant she would skip qualifying rounds and enter directly into one of the strongest tournaments in the world. For many players, that alone would be enough. But then came the announcement nobody expected. Serena Williams would also compete in Berlin. And suddenly, everything became different. The tournament transformed overnight. Fans immediately began imagining possibilities. Could Alex and Serena meet backstage? Could they practice together? Could they share a conversation? Could they appear on the same court? Could the dream actually happen? The excitement exploded across social media. Filipino fans could hardly believe it. Tennis analysts began discussing potential scenarios. Media outlets around the world started covering the story. Because this wasn't simply about rankings anymore. This wasn't simply about results. This was about something much bigger. This was about destiny. And then Alex Eala was asked a question that would produce one of the most emotional moments of the year. What does it mean to compete in the same tournament as Serena Williams? The young Filipina paused. Then she answered honestly, "I didn't think I would be able to experience that in my lifetime." The words instantly touched millions. Because they were real. They were sincere. And they perfectly captured what this moment meant. A dream was becoming reality, but what most people don't realize is that Alex Eala's journey to this moment was anything but easy. Long before the world began talking about Berlin, before the headlines, before the rankings, and before the wildcard announcements, there was simply a young girl from the Philippines chasing a dream that many believed was impossible. Tennis has never been the biggest sport in the Philippines. Unlike countries with long tennis traditions and massive development programs, opportunities were limited, yet Alex Eala refused to let that stop her. From an early age, she showed something special. Coaches noticed it. Opponents noticed it. Fans noticed it. There was a fearlessness in her game that separated her from other young players. She wasn't afraid of bigger opponents. She wasn't intimidated by higher rankings. She believed she belonged. That belief would eventually take her across the world. Training, traveling, sacrificing, working countless hours while other teenagers were living ordinary lives. Every practice session was another step toward a dream. Every defeat became a lesson. Every victory became proof that she was moving closer. Slowly, the results started arriving. Junior titles, international recognition, growing respect from coaches and analysts. Then came the breakthrough moments, the wins that forced the tennis world to pay attention. The performances that proved Alex Eala was no longer just a promising prospect. She was becoming a genuine threat. And with every success, one thing became clearer. The dream was no longer impossible. It was becoming reality. Meanwhile, Serena Williams had already accomplished everything. When Alex was learning the basics of tennis, Serena was winning Grand Slams. When Alex was entering junior tournaments, Serena was dominating the biggest stages in sports. When Alex was dreaming about one day reaching the professional tour, Serena was already building a legacy that many experts believe may never be matched. 23 Grand Slam titles, 4 Olympic gold medals, hundreds of victories, a career that changed sports forever. For years, Serena represented the highest standard in women's tennis. Young players didn't simply want to beat Serena. They wanted to become Serena. And among those dreamers was Alex Eala. Which is why Berlin feels almost unbelievable. Because this is not just another tournament. This is the moment where inspiration meets reality. The student and the legend. The dreamer and the champion. The future and the past. All arriving at the same place. At the same time. As the Berlin Open approaches, excitement continues to grow. Fans are analyzing every possible draw, every possible practice session, every possible interaction. Because everyone understands what makes this story so special. Some moments in sports are bigger than trophies. Some moments are bigger than rankings. Some moments remind us why we fell in love with sports in the first place. And Alex Eala, standing in the same tournament as Serena Williams, is one of those moments. But what nobody knows is whether this story is only beginning. Because Berlin could become the tournament that changes everything. For Serena, for Alex, and for the future of women's tennis itself.